Hi, I'm Carrie. Welcome to the AI Carrie Show, where I break down the hottest AI stories every week in plain English with context, clarity, and just enough perspective so we don't have to collectively spiral. Today's headlines are dramatic, emotional, and slightly apocalyptic. So take a deep breath with me. Let's unpack them properly. Let's start with the one that made everyone refresh their trading app at least twice. $1 trillion wiped off the stock market. In a single shockwave tied to AI uncertainty, valuations dropped and stocks slid. And suddenly, the same companies that were being called the future of civilization last month were being treated like over-enthusiastic science projects. Now, before we all assume this means AI is collapsing, let's be clear. This is not about AI disappearing. It's about expectations snapping back to reality. For the past 2 years, markets have priced AI companies as if exponential growth was guaranteed. Regulation would be gentle and monetization would magically scale. But markets are emotional creatures. When there is even a hint that progress may be slower, profits may be thinner, or legal risks may be higher than expected, the reaction is sharp. $1 trillion sounds catastrophic and in absolute terms is huge. But zoom out and what you are seeing is volatility, not extinction. My take is this: AI is not in trouble, hype circles are. And when hype outruns infrastructure, corrections happen. It is painful. It's not proof that the technology itself is failing. What this signals is, however, that we are moving into a more scrutinized phase. Investors are asking harder questions. Where is the revenue? Where are the moats? Where are the legal liabilities? How expensive is safety? The era of just add AI to the pitch deck is ending. The era of prove the scales responsibly has begun. And frankly, that is healthy. Wild optimism built on this wave is now discipline that will shape the future. Now let's move from trillion-dollar market stocks to something that feels smaller, but is actually a very big behavioral shift. Ring cameras launched a search for your dog. Yes, your doorbell camera can now help you find your pet. On the surface, this is adorable. AI image recognition trained to identify your specific dog, scanning footage across your cameras, flagging sightings, and potentially helping you locate them if they wander off. As a pet owner, this sounds brilliant. As someone who thinks about surveillance infrastructure, I have questions. Because here is what is really happening. Consumer home surveillance systems are becoming searchable databases of daily life, not just for packages or suspicious activity, but for individual identities. Today, it's your dog. Tomorrow, it could be your child, your neighbor, your delivery driver, or a person of interest. The technology itself is neutral: pattern recognition, object detection, face and body identification. But once you normalize searchable home footage, the cultural line shifts, guys. My take is balanced here. Yes, of course, for lost pets, this is genuinely useful. It can help reduce panic, speed up searches, and often peace of mind. But we must be conscious of how quickly convenience normalizes constant monitoring. When everyday driveways become searchable modes, searchable data, visual networks, questions about consent and access get more complicated. Who controls the data? I ask. How long is it stored? Who can request access? Who has these questions now? Please leave your comments because this must affect everybody. And now the headline that probably triggered the most existential dread today. Anthropic AI safety chief has quit. Reportedly said the world is in peril. That's not subtle when a senior safety leader leaves a big AI lab like that. People understandably react. Is this insider knowledge? If so, something is about to break. Is this a whistleblower moment? Leave your comments. Let's slow down. First, high-level resignations in fast-moving industries are not unusual. Disagreements over pace, policy, and governance are common. AI safety is a practicality, an intersection of technology, philosophy, geopolitics, and risk modeling. When someone says the world is in peril, it may reflect frustration with global coordination, regulatory gaps, or competitive dynamics, rather than an immediate catastrophic event. My take here is nuanced. We shouldn't dismiss warnings from experienced safety leaders. They understand the capabilities and pipeline more than most, but we also should not interpret every dramatic statement as evidence that superintelligence is launching next Tuesday. The real peril is not necessarily rogue AI tomorrow, it's misaligned incentives today. Race dynamics, inadequate transparency, fragmented global policy. That is the quieter but more realistic risk. When you connect today's three stories, a pattern emerges. Markets connecting hype, consumers, surveillance expanding quietly, safety leaders raising alarms about global coordination. This is not chaos, this is tension. AI is no longer a niche research field. It's an economic engine, a consumer product layer, a geopolitical factor all at once. And when something operates at all three levels simultaneously, friction is inevitable. So what should you actually take away from today? First, market volatility does not equal technological collapse. It signals maturation. Second, convenience-driven AI features often have second-order effects that deserve scrutiny. Third, safety debates are not abstract philosophy. They're about governance structures we are still building in real time. If anything, today is a reminder that AI's next chapter will not be defined purely by model capability. It will be defined by how markets place risk, how consumers trade convenience for privacy, how seriously companies take internal safety dissent. The technology is advancing, but so are the consequences. That is it today for the AI Carry Hot Topics. I'll be back next week to unpack whatever dramatic, fascinating, or slightly unsettling headline emerges next. What would you like to stay informed about or stay critical about? Please share in the comments. How do you feel about Anthropic's ex-safety chief saying the world is in peril? Let me know. And remember that in times of loud headlines, context is your superpower.